Hello everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Carlos Alejandro Martínez Zamora, medical intern. I'm from General Hospital Dr. Enrique Cabrera. My school is Saint Luke School of Medicine, so I'm here in Mexico. Um, and I will talk about this manuscript in which I participate as an author. First of all, I have to say that bibliometrics is a subdiscipline that provides information about the outcomes for the research process, including its volume, evolution, and visibility. It allows for the assessment of scientific activity and the impact of research. Based on this, bibliometric indicators can be classified into two main groups: indicators of activity and indicators of impact. Activity indicators visualize the number of distribution of publication, productivity, and dispersion of publication also. Among the impact indicators are the evaluation of highlight cited documents. In other words, bibliometric indicators offers a way to measure productivity, okay, which refers to the numbers of publications, and impact, in which refers to the frequency of situation at different levels. Micro, that can be individuals, like any hospital or any clinics, and macro, that's countries, specialties, universities, or large of institution of health. Yeah, these parameters obtained through the bibliometric analysis and provides a quantitative understanding to the scientific performance of a group, or although this concept nowadays is a little bit controversial. Yeah. To understand better this manuscript, I have to explain how does the healthcare system work in Mexico. Nowadays, there are three. The first is the one that we focus on this manuscript, that is called ISTE, that his meaning is the Institute of Social Security and Social Service for the State Workers. Yeah. The second one is IMSS, that is called the Mexican Social Security Institute, and the third one is SEDENA, that is the Secretary of National Defense. Each one have their mission. The first one, as it says, to satisfy the comprehensive well-being of civil servants, retirees, pensioners, and eligible family members. The second is the mission of the aims is to be fundamental and instrumental of social security, established as a national-wide public service. And the third one is to organize, administer, and prepare the Mexican Army and the Air Force with the purpose to defending the integrity, independence, and sovereignty of the nation. Yeah. So for this, we gave ourselves the task to continue to research the medical research of analysis of Mexican medical literature. We check the healthcare of the Institute of the Seguridad de Servicios Sociales Trabajadores del Estado, that is ISTE, the first one. Although the bibliometric analysis that we through 263 papers using this method, we were able to evaluate this research by institution, author, citation, year of publication, and the most researched specialized, including the Scopus author ID. It is important to mention that we started with this Mexican health institution since there are several health institutions in Mexico. The health service system is segmented into three largest groups according to the labor and payment capacity of the people. And within this, access to the care is fragmented into various institutions. As I said, to these three institutions, ISTE, IMSS, and SEDENA. Unfortunately, Mexico experienced a high degree of disconnection between public and private healthcare providers, with public health service being financed, administered, and provided by different governmental institutions, while the private providers focus on medical expense insurance where they absorb the costs required by the patient. Okay? In medicine, scientific research is the cornerstone for the improving patient care, finding innovative solutions, and making healthcare more affordable to our economic condition. According to UNESCO, innovation is not limited to technology. Scientific research is the cornerstone for improvement. Now, we believe that a nation scientific output, both the individual and collective actions of this scientific reflects their views on knowledge generation, how they conceive this progress, and the importance their society plays on research. The cross-pollination of disciplines is fundamental to truly revolutionary advance if any given field and medicine cannot longer be ignored by bibliometrics. To explain this, we consider R&D expenditure, which refers to the cost of research and development. According to Forbes, it is considered one of the main engineers of a country economy and is fundamental complement for the generation of talent and innovation. Yeah, countries that have committed to the substantially increasing public and private investment in R&D, as well as the number of researchers, will make any countries wealthier. The increase in R&D investment will accelerate the development of these nations. Conversely, if a country schemes on research for R&D or basic science, it will fall behind in a global ranking, losing the talent of these professionals who will seek opportunity in nations that invest in them and their projects. Yeah. So here we have our figure one in our manuscript that is the investment in science and R&D of Latin America countries as percentage of GDP from 1996 to 2020. This data is from the World Bank. So first of all, have to say before we analyze this figure that the ISTE covers about the 10% of the Mexican population. That is a little bit around at 13.7 millions, more or less. As I said a moment ago, its mission is to contribute to improving the levels of wellness of the workers of the state and their beneficials by providing efficient, effective, and good quality service, according now to the Article 25 of the General Education Law, that in Spanish will be Ley General de Educación. Mexico is required to allocate 1% to its GDP to scientific research and technological development, with their main actors being public higher education institutions. However, according to the World Bank, the data according to the World Bank, Mexico expenditure on research and development, the R&D, has never exceeded to 0.5, as we can see here in the table, and it shows in the figure 1, as I said, and it barely reached the 0.3 in 2020. As we can see, Mexico is here a little bit up to 0.2. Yeah, is the red line. Yeah. Okay, so the positive relationship between the continuous investment in research and development R&D and economic growth has been known for many years. However, this figure 1 shows a consistent lack of future investment in developing countries, as it demonstrates in our research. While the percentage of investment is the R&D higher in developing countries compared to the developing countries like ours, it is still not sufficient to sustain the future growth. After a closer examination to the R&D figures in figure 1 in Latin America, we notice that Brazil, that is the line that is green here, um, despite having fewer universities than Mexico, performs much better in terms of the number of publications. That is a little bit curious. This lends us to reflect how the universities and hospitals contribute to the generation of new knowledge. Currently, it is widely known that universities have three main objects. First, to teach and train students to the future profession. Okay, the second one, to inform the public about recent scientific advancements. And the third one is to generate the new knowledge through the research, while the most Mexican universities fulfill the first two roles. It remains that unclear whether they are contributing to the creation of a new medical knowledge. So, as we can see, Brazil and Cuba are leading in the R&D investment. Cuba is the blue one. So, we create this table to better explanify our position. It is something that I try to present in a figure on a table, aiming to establish the groundwork for understanding our current position here in Mexico. This article is the first of the kind to show this finding, serving as a benchmark to future comparison, encouraging future research to reveal the factors influencing both productivity and impact. Yeah. We also make a research in how there are the R&D in other countries. So this is a figure supplementary that we create also with the data of the World Bank that shows a higher investment in the, as I said, the R&D in some leading countries, highlighted in three major geographical areas. We check Europe, Switzerland, Sweden, and Austria, North America, and Southeast Asia. Like for example, Korea, Japan, and China. This type of analysis is crucial to understand the direction we are heading, especially when the research dedicated to research are scarce, as in the case in the most Latin America countries, as this shows in figure 1, that was the last one. Okay, and the data source and data extraction, our study was conducted using Scopus and extensively employed database by bibliometric investigation permitting to Latin American research. For example, COVID-19, pandemic, epilepsy, dementia, brain tumors, neurosurgery, and neurocystic psychosis. This repository was chosen because it is a comprehensive, diverse, interdisciplinary, and neutral sources that provides abstract and citations with significant overview of the world research output in the file of medicine and other related files. We include also articles authored by at least one researcher with an institutional affiliation to the ISTE, published between 1969 to 2021. Using Scopus, we'll build in function which track the following volumetric variabilities. For example, author ID, author affiliation, article title, sources, journal, title, year of publication, etc. Um, um, the language also we check which language that authors publicate. about English, Spanish, and all retrieved papers were also exported and saved to format CSV format. Yeah, and we were we choose 13 institutions here in Mexico that focus in organ-oriented, like for example, heart, lung, brain disorder, etc. To facilitate the further comparison, these institutes we manually classify each paper according to the topic, using 12 subcategories. For example, obstetric and gynecology, psychiatric, pediatric, neuroscience, pediatric, cardiology, etc. We took the task of checking the main keywords researched in Mexico at hospital affiliated with ISTE. As you can see in Mexico, uh, treatment and obesity that we can check here. 1, 2, and 3 are the top of the most researched terms here in Mexico. Indeed, although this may seem simple, this research is a turning point that give us an idea of what being researched in Scopus, and quite interesting to know where the focus of healthcare in our country. It is even coordinated between the main research and the most studied specialized, such as internal medicine, which is addressed the previously mentioned of pathology collectivity. This can provide valuable insights into the priorities and research focused in the field of health in Mexico. We also create this co-occurrence of keywords that are used here in Mexico to illustrate the interaction among the authors from the same institution. We use the BuzzBeaver program and bibliometric analysis, employing built-in BiblioShiny to describe and quantify the analysis of the data. We use the identified data for occurrence and collaboration network, and cohort analysis and word clouds. We did this for searching for authors keywords and the most 50 most frequently words used in the abstract. So also we create this co-authorship network between ISTEM. This following network reveals how research projects are shared among hospitals belonging to a single network, ISTEM. This network diagram clearly illustrates how some institutions are closely linked, while others operate independently and as a function as independent contributors in research. The colored dots represent the cluster of published, highlighted, and cited articles. Additionally, the name of this figure refers the most interconnected and active authors in their respective file. The institutions are colored by color code as follows. For example, 20 de Noviembre brown, pink, uh, yellow, etc. Yeah. The orange, blue, and purple and light purple are nodes that represent authors who are less productive. Yeah. Also, we can observe that the institutions are divorced on this specific institution within ISTE. It indicates that beside belonging of the same sector, advancement and discoveries are not being shared. The starting point, I have to say, that is the 20 de Noviembre Hospital, which shares even more generates and research in the capital city. Here we have is the green one, and it starts once again sharing to their have to say like brothers. Yeah, this network gives us an opportunity in Mexico also to raise and try to unite the network amongst institutions. Our final discussion or final conclusion is that we consider our bibliometric analysis as a kind of Google map for research in the field of medicine, just like a web mapping platform. This tool provides a valuable area view of medical research, which can be highly beneficial for policymakers and identifying neglected areas. The value of bibliometric analysis for a specific country as explored in the study needs to be examined in greater details. This involves examining how hospitals interact, which specialties are producing knowledge, which one needs to support to publish more. It is also essential to question which diseases are being studied without providing much useful knowledge, are merely replicating studies with the questions that have already been answered elsewhere. Additionally, we must identify the true health problems research neglect to due to the lack interested opportunities or located funds. Thank you very much for your attention. I remain available for any question, and I invite you to read the article since due to the time constantly, we were unable to cover all the topics through.